Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of Corpse Party Blood Drive. We just had a really uncomfortable set of scenes. Yuka's friend died, Misuto was a dick to her and knocked her out, and we still have no word on where the rest of our party is. But at least, with Ayumi's perspective, we're, going ahead and getting pillars, right? I hope Pyramid Head still isn't here waiting for us. Oh, he is. Man, what a stressful situation. Also, I'm missing 4 corpses, so we'll see if I can... Yeah, I don't know. Oh. Oh, hey! Well, sure. Loose candles. They seem to have been there for a long time as they look and smell oddly moist and are surrounded by various bugs. Okay. Well, now I have to be careful. Scary time. Oh, that's pretty scary. Oh wait, this is the music room. That's no good. Yeah, I don't want the music room. I want the staircase. Ooh, where's the staircase? Was this the staircase? That bell sure sounds a lot closer now. Is it above me? I guess we're supposed to go there then? Oh boy. I think we're supposed to go up to that gate, which was the completely optional area when I was running around with Aiko. Spiritual presence at the bottom. Countless lost souls are silently screaming in agony and despair. It'd be best not to go this way. Damn right. Alright, so I guess the only way I can possibly go is up. But you'll recall that when we played as Aiko in Chapter 2, we got to this whole area, which was completely optional, and the top was gated off. Nope. So maybe now we could open it. I'm curious as to what this is, because this whole area seems very intimidating. I climbed the long winding staircase that snaked its way up the walls of the tower. And I hugged those walls the whole time. The entire central area was wide open, with nothing but a rickety old guardrail between me and a very, very long fall. As I climbed higher and higher, the Argus Cube's light began to blink more and more intently. Oh boy. Suddenly, the bell toll rang out louder and clearer than before, with such intense, unavoidable force that I was completely frozen in my tracks and instantly in pain. This same sound had been heard multiple times since arriving in the Nirvana, but this was the first time it had been so overbearing. Even with fingers in my ears continued to pulsate, resonating with the incredible noise. The sound was just too all-encompassing to block out, present even when absent. And yet we're gonna get ever closer. That is a challenge. I braced myself for the next toll, expecting it to be the end, but it didn't come. And though the ringing never quite left my ears, it did slowly begin to abate, if only slightly. This really would be an intimidating challenge for the final one. Can you deal with it, and have to get closer and closer? The body of Yoshikazu Yanagihori. In addition to being crucified, he's also had a stake driven through the back of his head. Damn. And he was the Hammer Man, wasn't he? Yeah, he's the Hammer Man. Wow. Hey, why would he be here? Who would have done this to him? Good question. I can't check the bucket? Alright. What? I could have sworn that was the unmistakable voice of Sachiko Shinozaki. Or Pikachu, take your pick. Or Tony Chopper. Freaking weird. Oh, come on, there's a whole set of exercises where you literally just climb stairs. Here it is. Uncharted territory now. Interesting. So Magari has crazy Azusa. Huh. Magari grabbed the now primal beast-like Azusa by the hair and pinned her down. So, she was one of them, huh? In the society? We just walk into this. A tall shrine with a bell could be seen from the window, and from its peak there were 6 columns of light stretching upward. Also, hi. Damn. Whoa. At long last, I'd reached the top, and there it was, the 6th pillar, in all its horrifying glory. Wow, and you can see the flies buzzing around it. And it's literally a pillar this time. It looked like some bizarre growth coming down from the roof, composed entirely of long dead corpses. I observed it in horror, mouth agape, as a fluttering, winged insect scraped up against my ear canal. All the corpses' necks had red, ceremonial-looking markings emblazoned upon them. This 6th and final pillar was the crown. And what a sight it was. Am I playing? Oh boy. Jeez, with music like this. I closed my eyes and reached out to try touching the markings on one of the corpses' necks. If Magari is the voice of reason, we have a problem. Oh, jeez. Also, does this guy fight with an umbrella? As she screamed, Misuto leaped in from out of nowhere and snatched the water pillar crystal, Mercy, from Magari's chest before she had any idea what was happening. Gotta resort to sneak attacks, huh? Misoto looked on in sick pleasure, sticking his tongue out playfully as Magari plummeted to certain doom. I don't know, they're not dead until you see the body. Satisfied, he then turned his attention toward the final pillar, which had just finished unsealing. Okay, wow, chapters 7 through 10 are going to suck. Ugh. The light began to shine even brighter. I could only watch, stunned and squinting, as this new spectacle unfurled before me. There was a powerful blast of wind, and then the pillar crumbled. Unbeknownst to me, the other pillars had crumbled as well. The entire school rumbled and shook beneath our feet. Suddenly, the entire Nirvana was blanketed with impenetrable darkness. It's as if the whole place vanished, only to be replaced with an empty void. I'm afraid that what's going to happen next might be like the picture we've seen with Ayumi, like covered in the flesh, like on the cover. Because I don't see anything good coming from this. Oh man. I could sense that I was crouched on the ground, clutching my forehead. I slowly raised my line of sight up, the faintest hint of a glow catching my attention. Jeez, it looks like a borealis. Or australis. It looks like an aurora, I should say. Above me I could see the sky, though it was muted, distorted and discolored, as if being filtered through a warped purple veil. It looked a bit like the aurora borealis. A few moments passed in relative silence, only for the stillness to be broken by a sound echoing from the sky above. It was reminiscent of ice cracking on the surface of a lake. My god, Whitebeard's used his power at long last. The scenery that lay before me was like something out of a dream. Even then, after everything I'd been through, I had a tough time believing it was real. Then there was another sound, directly in front of me. I'd best describe it as a mass of metal collapsing to the ground. I turned my head down slightly and saw what looked like a piece of limestone with an eerie white glow. This was, I knew, the crystallized power of the final pillar. I picked it up, and almost immediately, Misuto tossed the stone he'd taken from Magari over to me. Oh boy, here we go.
Ayumi, 今までの結晶を全部出せ。や
っと会えたのに、いいのって。
僕はいらない。いいから早く出して全部合わせてみろ。もう。
There was too much at stake for me to dwell on this. Begrudgingly, as instructed, I took the other crystals out from my pocket and fit them all together into a single object. This is such a bad idea. Like, this is screaming bad idea. They snapped into place, snugly, and, with one final bright light, fused inseparably. The result was a more or less round crystal, with a black sheen reminiscent of hematite. This, I would learn, was called cabala dogra, and it was now complete. Yeah, no big deal, you just crack this guy and get it from a pillar of corpses, it'll be fine. It's... what's not to trust? Misuto flashed me a wry smile, but then... My god, she's alive. I mean, I know I just said a little while ago they're not dead until you see the body, but it's been like... it's been like 4 chapters. Yeah, put out that fire somehow, huh? It is amazing how much there is not time for this right now. Her clothes have been burned in several spots, the skin underneath now black with ash or red with blood. What? Flashback, okay. Okay, so I guess this explains why we just jumped straight to gameplay in chapter 6, because I guess the scenes are all in the ending. Yeah, treat burns and cover up the freaking ligaments in your hand. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, I'll take it. I mean, regardless of how many you have in-game, in canon, she clearly had a bunch of talismans. I leaned against the wall and smirked in spite of myself. I let myself slide down the wall until I was sitting. Then I stared out the window, defeated and alone. I looked down at the floor and breathed a deep sigh. What did happen to Haruyuki? He went berserk and threw the cabinet, right? But we just haven't seen him since. Like, did he die? Like, what happened? He succumbed to the darkening, I thought, and that's it. I stood up and placed my hand on the infirmary door. And remember, this is a flashback, so the infirmary is closed now, but maybe not so much then. When I opened the door, what I saw chilled me to my core. What? This was not a school infirmary. This was the clinic from Yoshie's home. There was a person sitting at the desk. What? Her face wasn't visible from the back, but her identity seemed clear. Yoshie, right? Crazy. The nurse was writing something in, presumably her journal, and was so focused on this task that she remained oblivious of everything else around her. Or at least she seemed oblivious. If she did notice me, she didn't care. She just kept on writing.
対に伴わない理論でしかなかった。成功例に関する文献も全く存在しない。私はなぜ愚かなことをしてしまったのだろう。最初から成功しないものに心血を注いでいたなんて。
成功しない？
Oh boy.
ええ、あなたは成功しないものに救いを求めていたのよ。
And we just finished building the crystal of death that Misuto's almost certainly going to take from us.
篠崎義恵自身がそう言っていたの？そんな、みんなが生き返るって聞いたから、私のしたことって。
Good question. I began to shudder, and my voice was going hoarse. Had I made the same mistake twice? Gone after a way to undo things only to make them far, far worse? Oh boy, that's an understatement. It's not just, oh, I went after a way to undo things. It's I went after, like, the blackest of black magic. The Book of Shadows, shaking the pillars of the Nirvana. Like, are you out of your freaking mind? Did you really think that this would just, like, it would just work? Like, your friends are back. No consequence. Like, really? Aiko could see how much this revelation was affecting me, and bit her lip. She seemed like she'd finally succumbed to her own conscience.
私も本当は半信半疑というか信じていなかった。ごめんなさい。私が自分の欲望のためにあなたをここへ誘導した。
あなた
Man, everyone's using Ayumi.
いなくなった友達に会いたかったから。もう一度声が聞きたかったから。
This was like a new Aiko, bearing it all as opposed to hardening her heart like she always had. She wanted friends, and she'd finally made some. Now all she wanted to do was cherish them. Tears streamed down her cheeks faster than she could react to them. She quickly gave up on wiping them away, electing instead to look down and hide her face in her hands.
Aiko-san.
And don't forget, Misuto is standing right here. Something awful's gonna happen very, very soon. Before I even realized it, Misuto had snatched the cabala dogra from my hand with calculated precision.
何をするの？
So he has this, and he either has Yuka in reserve or has already made use of her with her spirit energy. So...
ご苦労ご苦労
あなた
人なんぞ生き返らねえよ。常識で考えろ。頭ん中お花畑か？
Misuto's condemnation and contempt seemed to have an even greater effect on Aiko than on me. Her face was racked with guilt and sadness. I was starting to share her expression, however, as the implications of this action began to dawn on me. I fell backward into a sitting position on the ground.
そもそもあの本はな、破壊が目的の本なんだよ。再生の書物ではない。本に認められれば強力な力が手に入る。それをてめえはなくしただと？ったく使えねえ女だな。だがそんなクズなてめえでも有効利用してやったんだ。感謝しな。 これこそ魔女どもの英知の結晶。歩み、てめえが失った本の中身だ。これさえあれば新しいブックオブシャドウズを作ることができるんだよ。
Misuto inserted the Nirvana's crystal into the depression in his book.
側なんてものは所詮入れ物だ。じいさんの残したこの写本で。
What? A sharp tone rang out, and the entire area was quickly bathed in a contradictory light, black as night, yet bright as the noonday sun.
来た来た涅槃が拡大するぞ。
It's bad enough just here. Oh my god.
何よあれ。
いやいやあれすげえだろ。
What the hell? The sky had what looked like a giant gunshot in it, with spiderweb cracks projecting outward from it, and the gunshot was now growing into a full-on gaping hole. And inside that hole, an upside-down view of the real world was clearly visible. It was nighttime, so everything was a little dark, but it was absolutely identifiably the world we knew. And in that world, small, black, grain-like objects began emanating from the floating orb, clustering like locusts and dancing across the sky. Chapter end right now. Okay, Satoshi confirmed alive. I figured, but it's still nice to see. Through the fissure in the sky, we could see nighttime scenery from the real world.
なんだよあれ。まさかここって。
驚いたね。どうやらこの場所は現世から空に見えていた黒い球体の内部みたいだね。
ってことは現実世界に天神症がすでに現れていたってことですか。
そうなるね。恐ろしいことだわ。かろうじて両者を隔てていた壁がこのまま壊れてしまって、死後の空間と現世が融合しちゃったら、世界がどんなことになるのか想像もつかない。
My god, the stakes are high in this game.
あっちの金のある塔の方が光ってる。行こう先生。サトシ、岸沼も。
ええ。
なあ。よしき、行くぞ。篠崎、どこ行っちまったんだよ。くそ。
I don't know where it is they're going or what they plan to do, but they should hurry anyway.
新ブックオブシャドウズ。この本で涅槃の力を得た俺は幸の力をも凌駕する。
だったらその力でサッチを止めて。今も呪いを振りまいてるんでしょ。世界を救ってよ。これが結晶を集めた私たちの目的でしょ。
やだね。花からどうだっていいんだよ。世界もサッチもくだらねえ。この本を作るために動かしたんだからよ。
But like for what? What are you gonna do?
やっぱり騙したのね。
Oh.
うん、騙した。
I was clenching my fists so hard that my scrawny arms were quivering. Try as I might to think up a response, there were just no words for this. All I could do was glare.
恨んだって構わねえぞ。 だがもう手遅れだ。あの空のひびを見ろ。終わりの到来だ。現実世界は今ついに涅槃に侵食を許した。これで世界がじわじわと混沌に包まれて死の世界となる。
Again, though, like, what's the point? Like, you have power, so what? Power over, like, a nothing dimension?
楽しいぜ。みんな狂ってさ。篠崎あゆみ、お前はいい働きをした。お前がバカだったおかげで俺の望みが叶いそうだぜ。そういう意味では最高にイケてる死の女神といったところか。
腐りきってるこいつ。
これで俺は
あなたの望みって何なの？
復讐に決まってんだろ。
On whom? What, our older sister? Like, Misuto slowly turned around, revealing a startlingly cold and expressionless face. Yet even if his features had no depth, his eyes shone with an almost cartoonish malevolence. He had quite literally become an embodiment of pure evil. From a spot in the real world that was clearly visible to us of the fissure in the sky, a large black monolith-like pillar suddenly sprouted out of the ground. 5 more? No?
膨張した涅槃の力が向こうの世界に飛び出したか。エンティティウォールだ。ほら、もっと力を見せてみろ涅槃。お前を制する者は誰だ？俺だよ。
He pounded the book, and just like that, another entity wall formed. You know, I gotta say though, you play with fire, you're gonna get burned. I don't know how this game ends, but whatever Misuto's fate is gonna be probably horrible. This time it spawned beneath a freeway, puncturing and utterly destroying it, scattering countless cars and bikes every which way as if they were toys. Is this one of those things where you could just take the book and his power is just gone? He really is getting cartoonish. Ignorant fools, like, get out of here. Wow. Somebody take that and carve it into stone somewhere.
そのアーガスキューブでずーっとお前は監視されたんだ。だとならお前は忠実な操り人形だ。この涅槃の力を結晶化できるのは篠崎の血を引くお前だけ。仕方ねえから俺の代わりに涅槃のパワーを集めさせてやったのさ。しかしこうも一気に現世と涅槃がつながるとはな。そうギャーギャー騒ぐんじゃねえよ。これで新しい空の方が完成する。篠崎家の責務から解放してやろうってんだぞ。
That makes me nervous.
この本で涅槃の力をコントロールする。ブック・オブ・シャドウズの力を継承するのはマルトゥバでもお前ら篠崎家でもない。
どうでもいい。つまら なたみたいな人にそんなもの渡せない。
Careful now.
返して。お姉ちゃんが悲しむわ。
バカが死んだ人間が悲しむもんかよ。
そんな言い方。お姉ちゃんとのことも嘘なの。
Shock of shocks. Misuto flinched slightly. I seemed to have struck a nerve, though how deeply that nerve ran I couldn't say. So was he your protege and he just got bitter? He recovered quickly, but still... Yeah, shock.
てめえの知ったことか。バカな妹のために簡単に全てを捨てて命まで差し出しやがったんだからな。
My tear glands twitched in pain. Every negative emotion came flooding through me at once. I wanted to pounce on this man. I wanted to wring his neck. I wanted him to die.
てめえはもうお前のせいで世界の破滅が早まったんだ。せいぜい自分の罪を悔いて死ね。
Yup. All those deaths were on me. All the suffering, the pain, the fear, it was all caused by me.
まさか
Ugh.
祈りのとこに送ってやるよ。死んだけ。
あゆみちゃん。
逃げろ、篠崎。
Ooh, that scared me. I thought he was just gonna take the shot.
離れろ。こいつは狂ってる。
This is not gonna go well.
言ってくれるじゃねえか。え？見た顔だな。パンピー。誰だっけ、お前。
やめて、岸沼君。危ないよ。
いいから、お前は離れてろ。
その人の言う通りかもしれない。私が余計なことばっかりしてるから。鈴本さんやゆい先生たちも。お姉ちゃんもみんな私のせいで私なんか生まれてこなければよかったんだよ。
Ooh. I tried to scream those words, but my voice was so hoarse that they came out almost as a squeak. I crouched down and buried my face in my hands at this point, and in doing so, I failed to notice the sudden appearance of none other than Sachiko, red dress and all. But she doesn't look corrupted, and yet she's wearing the red dress and not the yellow or white one, so... She did save us from phantoms before?
篠崎、お前。そうじゃねえ。そうじゃねえだろが。みんなもっと幸せになれってよくなれってした願いがよ。なんだって踏みにじられなきゃいけねえんだ。騙される方じゃねえ。騙す方が悪いに決まってんだよ。辛いなら何とでも言ってやるぞ。お前は何も悪くねえ。
Like, there are 4 more chapters! What the hell is gonna happen?
兄ちゃん。篠崎さん。ねえさん。内田君、みんなどうしてここに。
Misuto ceased trying to wrestle with Kishinuma, instead making a grand sweeping motion with his hand. Ah, crap. Yep. I felt like I was covered in a thin film of snot and tears by this point, but I put on the most intimidating face I could manage and tried to stare Misuto down. He did stop and stare back, though it certainly wasn't due to intimidation. Is this... Are we just gonna go in a line of stopping Misuto?
てめえが 持田聡。
In that moment, the entire space shook violently, moving every which way beneath our feet. As this occurred, a massive, virtually indescribable object floated into existence behind us.
すごいな。7番目の柱。
Oh,
知識のセフィラだ。俺のブックオブシャドウズの力に反応して現れやがった。
何をあれ
終わりだ。この崩壊の柱があれば日々どころじゃねえ。壁を全部壊して涅槃と現世を融合できる。なんだそれ。
there was a light emanating from my stomach, but as soon as I caught a glimpse of it, it disappeared.
よーし、派手に現世と涅槃の壁を壊すとするか。この天神賞ごとな。犠牲になれ歩み。それと庭く。
私を知っているの？
当然だろう。有名な天才だ。お前は医療も超自然学も技術において全体の水準を底上げした人間。
Mochida, Nakashima, and Kishinuma all turned their heads at once to look at Kuon, jaws slightly agape. The three of them had no knowledge of any of this, so all they could do was stare in disbelief.
だが、その才能のせいで、お前の親も妹も堕落した。このざまだがな。
やめて！そんなことない！
さて、まあ、涅槃のコアが見つからないのが気になるが、校舎を潰してから後で探せば見つかるだろう。そう。神聖ブックオブシャドウズは完成だ。
Miss Kuon looked down at her ever after stones, but the spirit meter she attached to them still wasn't showing a full charge.
ダメだわ。
Jeez.
いい子だ。グッバイ。
I didn't have time. I didn't have time. Although wait, there's no wrong end anymore. I got the wrong end, so it doesn't matter what I would have chosen, right? I hesitated for a moment, torn as to whether I should try to stop Misuto or prioritize lending a hand to Kishinuma and my friends.
させちゃいけない！止めるの！
え？なんだこれは。
That was the most desperate cry I'd yet heard from Aiko.
愛ちゃん！お願い！殺さないで！お姉ちゃんは関係ないでしょ！愛ちゃん。
しゃらくせえ！
愛ちゃん！
Whoa! Oh, just as Miss Kuon screamed, the giant hellish beast spawned right before our eyes. On the front of it was an enormous mouth. It made a beeline straight for Aiko and passed right through her body? Okay. Something not unlike black smoke coiled around it for a moment. It roared like a dinosaur, twisted its body to and fro, then flew over the guardrail and exited the scene. The only thing it left behind was Aiko's body, without a head. Ugh. That's some Madoka Magica action right there. Ugh, that sucks. She remained upright for a split second, then tumbled lifelessly over the railing and into the pit.
ぶっ潰れよ天神小学校
As if on cue, the entire school began to shake violently. So violently that not a single one of us could keep our balance.
Nami!
This was well beyond any other earthquake we'd ever experienced at Heavenly Host to date. The shaking eventually died down, but things looked a lot different when it did. The sky above us was now blood red, with certain sections here and there bursting in black flame.
ってことでさらばだギニーピッグ
愛ちゃんなんてこと
先生
涅槃はこの学校は崩壊するわ
先生帰る方法は
幸せの石はまだ戻れるほどの霊力をチャージできていないのこれから数時間はかかっちゃう
Hours? Come on. I was slumped over, crying my eyes out as this conversation unfolded. Miss Kuon looked over at me, however, and saw something else. A girl in a red dress, standing directly behind me, Sachiko. I objected strongly for obvious reasons, but I knew she was right, at least about the possession. I could sense Sachiko behind me. I could see her now, too, but of everyone else present, Miss Kuon was the only other one who could.
嫌です。私もみんなと一緒に。
厳しいことを言うけれどその涙にもし本当に責任を感じているのならあなたは生き延びてこの世の先を見なきゃいけないわそして守るこれ生きる道があるのに死を選ぶのはただの諦め逃げることなんだよ時間がないわ行くのやだ
I was absolutely inconsolable, but Miss Kuon just smiled. She stood behind me and patted Sachiko on the head. Sachiko, responsible for so much pain and torment, who now looked for all the world like a pure, innocent, lost little girl. Reacting to this new stimulus, Sachiko closed one eye and turned her head toward Miss Kuon, a satisfied expression on her face.
お願いね
この上私だけ助かるなんて。
I had no conscious desire to go along with this, yet it seemed like it was, whether I liked it or not. Everything around me began glowing white, and my body was lifting off the ground.
強くなりなさい
She really was so much like Miss Yui. Below me, I could see Mochida shielding Nakashima from the falling debris while staring at my rapidly ascending body. Kishinuma had stood back up by now, and was watching me as well. Wow, thanks. No love for Yoshiki, I see. In an instant, the turbulent fates of Mochida, Nakashima, Kishinuma, and Miss Kuon all came to a close as the four of them were distinctly and unmistakably crushed before my eyes. Whoa! There are 4 freaking chapters, like what the hell is this? My vision warped, my memories jumbled. then there was just the sky that hung above the real world, above our world. The black orb was there, and it was swelling up bigger and bigger, almost like a fetus rapidly gestating to term. It quickly grew too big to be contained and burst open. Strands of black energy shot out in all directions, and the entirety of the night sky was dyed an eerie reddish black. The Nirvana had now broken free of its bonds, and it wasted no time pulling the real world into its embrace. God damn! Oh, this ought to be good. Argus, Entity, 7th Pillar, Pillars of the Six Demons. EX Chapter 4. Whew. Sure. God damn. I think it's time we stop the installment. What can I say? We beat Chapter 6. Everybody's dead, except for us. Misuto's taken over the world, and there are 4 chapters left in the game. I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do. I don't know how we're supposed to undo this. If we can undo this, it's a freaking catastrophe. What can I say? It is a freaking catastrophe. The world's ended. We're only slightly halfway through with the chapter count. 7, 8, 9, and 10 to go. Until next time, everyone.